Hello and welcome to Writer Rant, author advice in 5 minutes or less because I have to get back to writing and so do you. So this week I have a topic that was actually presented by one of the people who commented on one of my previous videos, and today I want to talk a little bit about the hatred for indie authors. And if you look around the internet anywhere, in the circles for publishing and that kind of stuff, you're going to find a lot of reviewers on Amazon and on Goodreads, as well as a lot of traditionally published authors they kind of have a hatred for the self-published and independently published authors. And when you think about it, a lot of this hate is kind of justified, because most of the time the indie and the self-published authors, they really kind of put out subpar work, myself included. I mean, I wrote a book almost 10 years ago, and it's like, yeah, I didn't have an editor, I didn't pay for an editor, I did it the best I could. Now, granted, I'm not touting this as the greatest thing ever. I'm not saying, oh, well, if everyone hates this book, they're just idiots. I'm not going to go around trolling people and blackmailing people on Goodreads who give me bad reviews. I mean, that's idiotic. I mean, who has the time for that? The thing is that, obviously, the quality's not up to the traditional publishing standards. And I get that, and that's great that, we kind of have some gatekeepers, agents and publishers that kind of find the talent, because sometimes, yeah, it's like anyone can write, anyone can publish. It's free to publish these days. Now, whether or not it's quality, that's really where the hate comes in, is that, yeah, if you sit down and you put the time in and, you really do your formatting, you really do your proofreading, you hire an editor, you hire a cover artist. I mean, there's a lot of things that, being traditionally published, the publisher would actually pay for. So they pay for the editor, they pay for the cover artist. They're not necessarily going to pay for the marketing, but at the very least, they're paying for some things that the self and indie authors are not going to pay for, because obviously that's going to cost money, and money is in short supply when you're not making very many sales because you're a self or indie author. Anyways, so that's where, again, the hate is somewhat justified. The other part of it is that, how do we combat that as self and indie published authors? It really comes down to how professional is your product, right? If you have just some random picture of space on your cover and some, Arial font as your title, it's just like, okay, yeah, I mean, somebody could have put that together just like that in, some simple program instead of actually hiring somebody to do a really good cover. And, it's those kind of professional touches. So it's the cover, it's the interior design, it's the formatting. I mean, how many books have I read where, like, they don't use the justify line? Like, look at any of the professional, traditionally published books. Like, pick one out of your bookshelf and look at it. Like, see how it feels, how it looks. I mean, that's kind of the professional look to it. But then, obviously, content-wise, you want something that's not cliche or tropes or any of that kind of stuff. You don't want a book to start like, it should have started halfway through and you could just throw away like half of the book because, it really was redundant. Those kind of things. Like, those are all kind of things that most people are going to say, yeah, this is a terrible book because, they didn't have someone professionally look at this. It's not a professional product. So, if indie and self-published authors can put out more, professional looking things, and yeah, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes sometimes money, and I get that, and I have to struggle with that too. It's like, how much money do I spend? Where do I spend it? Do I spend it on a cover? Obviously I gotta spend it on an editor, those kind of things. And it's like, that's where we can start getting less hate and more appreciation of, kind of the more interesting ideas that are out there that maybe aren't, commercially viable, but, they're an interesting idea, and somebody took the time and the effort to actually put a professional product out there, even though they're self-published or independently published. So what do you think? Do you hate indie and self-published authors? Do you think that, we shouldn't even have options for them to release books? By all means, let's discuss it down in the comments below. If you have any other things that you don't like about the publishing industry, writing, reading, reviewing, any of that stuff, drop a comment below, and maybe we'll put it in a future episode like I did for this one. So thanks for watching this episode of Writer Rant. I'm Benjamin M. Weilert.